Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty interesting stuff to go and talk about. And it's actually in regards to the brand new and very kind of somewhat secretive Xbox project that's been kind of in the works for quite some time. We've been seeing little bits and pieces of it, and we kind of have a lot of speculation to kind of go into. But for this, we actually have an article over here from basically Windows Central that kind of goes pretty in-depth, talking about what they're expecting, what they're looking for, what the price points, and pretty much what it even is. And if you guys have not actually had a chance to go and see this actually might be a pretty big game changer, especially when it comes to gaming and gaming as a whole. And as you guys know, the Xbox has been kind of trying their best to kind of branch outside of just normal traditional gaming, and this is why I think it's always a little bit fun and nifty to go and talk about. So we have a lot of things to go talk about, so as well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console controller. Twitter and Twitch room as well, linked down below. We have Target links down below, Amazon links down below, Weebles down below, Twitter and Twitch room down below, and all that good stuff as well down below, and let's go and talk about it. So in case you guys haven't seen with my awful haircut, which one of these days we'll figure out what to go and do with it. I think I was kind of liking the longer hair if you guys were seeing that floating around, but if you guys have longer hair, give me a tip so I don't look so weird up on my camera. But for this, we've actually been kind of seeing this little like cool, interesting keystone. It's kind of like the project codename for it, and it's actually a brand new Xbox console. Now, this has been like in the works and been kind of being leaked as of recently. And if you guys don't necessarily fully know what it is, the idea is that they want to have a option to be able to go game anywhere. So this is kind of like the same thing of maybe like say a like Luna stick or like maybe like a Google type stick, whatever. You can basically go and stream anything through it, like say for Stadia. And as you guys know, Game Pass and games as a whole is kind of the major big focus when it comes to games. Like they want people on Game Pass, they want people in Game Pass, they want people paying for Game Pass. And this I think is always still kind of one of the bigger things, because we've talked about this on the channel before. So let's go do a little more of a deep dive, because there's a few other little things we've kind of noticed and seen and kind of talked about when it comes to all this stuff. So let's go do it, mainly so I can get a little bit more on the smaller time over here, because, well, no one likes my weird haircut. So this is in regards to the Xbox Keystone, the streaming console, and everything that we know so far, and as well the expected price point. So I've kind of covered up some of this stuff, so I'm going to kind of harp into it and kind of get a little bit of talk myself into it as well. So basically for this, you guys can see this from Jez with the key to happiness. So first of all, what is it? The rumors began to swirl about the new Xbox codename dubbed Keystone. We later exclusively revealed exactly what it is. So we've had a chance to see this in well, it's been leaked around before in other sources as well. So Keystone is basically the work-in-progress new Xbox console that focuses on more of the streaming and cloud services side. We've covered this before. And over native gameplay and powerful local hardware. So using Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Cloud subscription services, players will be able to then access and play their games over the internet on a box that will be significantly cheaper than either the Xbox Series X or S, or even a gaming PC, laptop, etc. Now, as some might be a little bit farther away, but all these leaks are actually making this thing seem a lot cooler than it actually is. So with this is the Keystone. It's the codename for the new console, said to be another companion more so to the Xbox Series X and S. So instead of using local computer hardware, the Keystone is an entirely streaming-oriented box. So it's kind of like we have the Xbox Series X, which is like the discs. We have the games, the good hardware. We have the Xbox Series S, which is pure digital, and also still good internal hardware, don't get me wrong, but not fantastic. And then with this, now we'd have basically like, I always keep on trying to compare this to like, say, a Roku stick, or like something just maybe plug into USB on your TV or monitor, and you kind of go from there. So this is going to be even smaller than the Xbox Series S, and it's going to be probably the smallest Xbox console. This is technically a brand new Xbox console too as well from all the leaks. So Keystone will be running games entirely now from the cloud. So this will be using the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Cloud Gaming service, and this kind of tie into because we've seen leaks and rumors for that brand new service, so it kind of goes in hand in hand. And we actually might even see more information on this possibly in the upcoming Microsoft conference in the next few days. And I guess my little quick, like, middle of the video stuff. Leave a comment down below to let me know if you guys would even have a chance, / would even want to go and buy this yourselves. I keep on thinking this would be probably a really cool, maybe project for maybe like someone in high school or college. Maybe someone who just does a lot of moving or has double houses, lake house, or whatever it may be, and they still want to enjoy some gaming. So basically, as Microsoft continues to ramp up and develop the service, we're reaching the point where the Xbox Cloud streams essentially feel native on a suitable network environment, which at the end of the day, like the Google Stadias and all these, that's kind of the end goal. You want to be able to go make sure you can play any game at any time on your phone, on travel, on 5G, with basically no issues long term. So the mileage also may vary too, because like let's say you're in a forest and like you somehow found power, you might not have a chance to get a good signal. But let's say you're maybe in your house, or maybe like an apartment, or like I said, Airbnb, college dorm, or whatever, it may actually be honestly perfect. Those iterations of the Xbox Game Pass Cloud have essentially almost eliminated latency issues too as well. So a lot of these really big upgrades coming out from basically all these issues or lag issues, Wi-Fi issues, multiplayer issues, whatever it may be, kind of seem like they're mostly almost done in the first place, which is actually really kind of cool. So right now it's not fully out as of yet, but it does seem like all the leaks and early information are making this actually seem pretty awesome. And it's at the point where it's like probably 90% confirmed. So basically, what's this going on? What's the size? What's the features, etc. So as the streaming first console, the Keystone will be the smallest Xbox console out there. Microsoft said in a recent statement that the current iteration of Keystone is being shelved. They are instead of working on a new version, which is always nice because that means that they probably realized it wasn't going to be as good, focusing on developing the OS and the other key features that Microsoft feels are necessary to position this against a device like the Stadia Pro or the Chromecast bundle. The current iteration of Keystone internally is about an inch thick. So we're talking one of the tiniest consoles ever. That's so small. And has a square form factor similar to that top of the Xbox Series X shaved off. So imagine more of maybe like a box or like a really mini laptop that's closed size-wise. The final version released to consumers, however, may look different, obviously because this is kind of like more of like, the trials. It's not officially now. It's kind of like how we saw the Xbox dev kits and stuff like that. And this is also apparently what also Microsoft's trying to push for, just really small. You can maybe even try to put in your pocket, in your backpack, on your baggage, on your luggage, be able to go utilize it anywhere as like an extra incentive to go keep your Game Pass subscription. And I really do think this seems actually really cool because we want to go and see more people on Game Pass, like especially if you're a casual gamer. And like I mentioned, like I can imagine someone in college, maybe they want to be a little bit on the cheaper side, but they want to keep playing games, maybe they have to come back for the spring break and summers and fall breaks, etc., and go from there. So yeah. So they also understand that the Keystone will run on Xbox Game Pass only cloud as its primary gaming platform, although they also understand that Microsoft is aiming to have a suite of basic video streaming apps too as well. So it's not only going to be like, just gaming. This is where I sometimes feel like in the future it's the best, because you want to have those options. So it's also to have Netflix, Disney Plus, and also other various things too as well, maybe say like Amazon or Crunchyroll or whatever. To speculate, since this device will likely be Windows-based in some form, hopefully we could even see Microsoft movies and TV series services on the box as well, given that Microsoft only has license to distribute this content on Windows-based devices, and that'd also be a really nice extra perk just for, I'm one of those people, you give me more options, even if I may not use it, I'm sure someone out there may or may not. Also, for ports and connectivity from all the leaks and everything out here, you'd have to assume that it'll also have standard connectivity things like say USB, so say for headsets or controllers or wireless controllers, alongside with Ethernet too as well, just for like a slightly more efficient run through. And on top of that too, a lot of folks are also hoping it'll be future-proofed with Wi-Fi 6 capabilities, although Microsoft has previously targeted the more widely available Wi-Fi 5 as a standard. I think I'd rather go for the future-proof, but kind of how we've seen for like Chromecast and Roku apps, they do kind of long-term just make new ones all the time. Like, if it's successful and people utilize it a lot, at the end of the day, they're going to go and buy the next one and the next one, or like they'll wait like 2 or 3 years. It's kind of like, say, for iPhones, as time goes on, you kind of slowly integrate into other different types of cabling and stuff. It's not as bad. But we can kind of go from there. So Wi-Fi 6 may inflate the price, though, if they did want to push that thing. Although, as more and more devices are getting this, it may even be a nice loss leader and kind of have the first generation maybe lose money, and then second, third generation build up the market share and get more people on it in general, too, as well. And they do also want to have at least a 1080p experience, so it makes sense, but it's also somewhat usable with the Wi-Fi 5. And as well, a lot of the connections also kind of depend on Xbox Game Pass's cloud array by the time of its launch. So basically, Xbox Cloud Gaming maxes out at 1080 60 on PC and 720 60 FPS on mobile. In a device that was cloud first, you have to wonder whether Microsoft would eventually get for that 4K 60 streams as well. Although I do think at this point it's really big on the bandwidth, and it's a little bit on the harder side to go and kind of justify that. Now, as well, when it comes to games, too, they obviously want to have almost every game for the Xbox Game Pass. They'll probably, things, like, say, Call of Duty when it comes and the acquisition happens. Halos, the Forzas, all the indie games on Game Pass, too, as well. Although, technically, I'm sure the licensing will be pretty good and easy. So, basically, for that, they're also stating, though, because there is some issues, Xbox Keystone will technically be an Xbox console. So, there's also a nice distinct possibility that Microsoft may be allowed to go buy any digital game, too, as well, instead of for streaming, too, on top of that. And also, if you have any issues, with Game Pass itself. And all around kind of seems actually pretty cool too. They also were hearing leaks that Microsoft plans to eventually offer all digital games you own through cloud gaming though as well. But of course, there's a few little baby bits of legal issues. And now, of course, a lot of the price points is on the speculation side. I could probably see around $100 being good. You know, I mean, I would maybe even say sometimes like 50, 60 if you guys want to go and base on the like more cheaper things. Like they even mentioned the article that Stadia Pro is a little bit on the cheaper side, and as well, you know, like there's a few options and a few other cheaper options, etc. But I would still probably say $100 for a smaller Xbox console with also built-in pure streaming. If you only want to have a Game Pass machine, is not the worst, because you could also just basically get rid of your Xbox Series S or just get this instead if your internet's also good and stable. So it also kind of seems kind of cool as well, because it only will be also active for other current states and countries that are all available with it. And as well, we don't know the exact type over here because the initial leaks were on the 22 release dates, but I would probably say right now, depending on how the Xbox conference goes these next few days, and make sure you even just go turn into maybe this next year. But we've been hearing a lot of rumors and information with it, so I wouldn't doubt it if it came sooner rather than later. And it's also kind of cool to see that it's pretty much almost done and almost in fruition based on the early information and leaks. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Would you guys go and buy one? Would you guys not? Too much money? Not enough? Etc. And also check out the Amazon links down below, the Twitter and Twitch stream down below, the Webull and Coinbase down below, the Target links, Xbox links, all that good stuff as well down below. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching.